Yes, a global warning, 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 warning. Yes, we know that we live in an area that is very susceptible to all kind of things, including climate change. And so we are in the broader segment today, and we've got the pleasure of the company of Gabrielle George. She's an intern at e-Biome Scientific Research and Development Consultancy. We've had representatives of your organization already, Gabrielle. And so we know it's always good. How you do? What's going on?
Hi, Jerry. I'm doing well. How are you?
Doing well, doing well. You know, sometimes it's a choice and you choose to do well. you know, as far as it is up to you, you know what I mean? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I know you always have something very special when you see the e-Biome. And then again, it's very often having to do with, regardless of age, location, whatever, but this one is an essay competition that is impending. Tell us a little bit about this competition. Well, before you do, I think a little background might be lovely. Why the competition is important? Because we've been having, Melissa's not the only one, but tell us, set the context. I think we should start with the context. I jump in too far too quick. So the context now. The first thing with the context of why this essay competition is important and why no.
Right. That's a very good question. Why is it important and why no? So the theme for our essay competition is called Building Resilience and Innovation in Jamaica's Agricultural Sector. Right? A very beautiful theme. And prior to that, right, that's it. Prior to that, we were brainstorming the theme. Before we came to this decision, we were brainstorming, and at the time now, in March 2026, the government of Jamaica announced the Adapt Jamaica program, right? And what's very interesting about that program is they secured 50 million USD from the Green Climate Fund, right? And all of that is going towards climate resilience in agriculture, right? Now, e-Biome, we pride ourselves in climate resilience, everything that has to do with climate change. And just to provide a clearer understanding of what climate resilience is, it's about our ability. It's about our ability to recover from the impacts of climate change, right? So issues like hurricane, impact of flooding, things like soil erosion, and prolonged drought, right? So in high school, we learn about, okay, what's climate change? It's the change of the atmosphere over a long period of time, right? And one of the most discussed topic among matters of climate change is global warming, right? We're talking about the rising temperature of the earth. And this leads to what? Stronger hurricane. So we can point to Hurricane Beryl in 2024, or we can point to recently Category 5 Hurricane Melissa, right? And it can also lead to erratic rainfall. What do we mean? We're talking about unpredictability, irregularity, right? So one moment you have a sudden downpour of heavy rainfall, and this can cause flooding, and this can also cause soil erosion. Or you can have times where there's little to no rainfall for a long period of time, which also contributes to what we call prolonged drought. And one of the sectors, right, and one of the sectors that is heavily impacted by this, by impacts of climate change, Jerry, is the agricultural sector, right? So we look at, for example, back to the Hurricane Beryl cost us approximately $7 billion, Jamaican dollars, lost in the agricultural sector.
With a B, people, a big old B.
A B, and then Hurricane Melissa a year after, 32 billion. So that's a lot of money, a lot of losses. And so the Adapt Jamaica program, right, aims to invest in climate resilience. That is, we are more equipped to mitigate the effects or the impacts of climate change, right? And one aspect of this program is training, I believe, 7,800 farmers in climate resilient techniques. And so we found that to be very perfect, and we found that to be something that we should invite our youth, especially secondary students, to be part of that discussion, right? Tell us about climate resilient techniques that our farmers can utilize. So that really sets the importance of this SFE, right? It's building resilience and innovation in the agricultural sector, and it really shows the relevance, right? The relevance, because the program, right, I believe a number of initiatives will be implemented over a period of time, some of them to begin 2027, 2028. So right. 2026 is a very critical window, Jerry, for our students to really come and tell us about climate resilient techniques.
Right. Amazing stuff. What are you looking for? Because there's so many layers with anything that has to do with nature that I know that as an organization which is science-based, I mean, the experience is real everyday thing, but it's science-based. So you're going to have the criteria. So talk to us a little bit about what you're looking for. So help them out. You get stuck, you want to do this thing, and you're just blank. So help a girl out, help a guy out. Where you going to? What you looking for?
Right. So I understand the theme might be broad to our students, right? Building resilience and innovation in the agricultural sector of Jamaica, right? It's very broad. So we want the students to focus particularly on climate resilient techniques. So we're looking for three things, and let me just let one. So one, we want students 2 to 3 climate resilient techniques, right?
Got you.
And that must be relevant. That must be relevant to the Jamaican context, right? And then 2, now, they need to explain how these farming techniques connect to Vision 2030 Jamaica. How many students know Vision 2030? And then the third one is propose, right? Propose a school or community project idea, right, that demonstrates at least one of these farming techniques. So we're looking for these three things, very simple, and we're just very excited about the submissions to see the very excited submissions. So let me just get into the first one, right? Describe 2 to 3 climate resilient farming techniques relevant to the Jamaican context. This is very important, Jerry. I can't stress this enough. The Jamaican context, because we don't want, for example, an essay and we look at it and we see, okay, our farmers can utilize this technique to ward off snow during the winter season. Now, in the Jamaican context, that doesn't make any sense at all, because we don't experience anything like snow, right? So we want students to think about practical techniques. So, for example, we look at the fact that a majority of Jamaica's farmers are smallholders, right? Right. So they operate small plots of land. They operate on small plots of land. And so if I say that our farmers are heavily dependent on rainfall, right? And one of the impacts of climate change is prolonged drought, right? You as a student now must look at, all right, what techniques can the farmer utilize to mitigate this impact of prolonged drought, given that they depend heavily on rainfall. So we want the students to, jog the mind, think about some practical techniques on climate resilience in agriculture that our farmers can use.
Wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. I want to play another quick clip that I had shared with you earlier on. It's just some random things online, and it was from individuals within the central Jamaica area. Small comments. Here's a second one, and you can include it in your, as we move along, if there's something in there that is reinforceable. So here it is.
Okay.
Do you know the environment that you're operating in? Where your farm is situated matters. It matters in how you manage the farm, because a farm that is among other farms will require greater treatment for pests and diseases compared to a farm that is isolated. So you won't have pests or diseases or disease-carrying vectors coming to your farm from other farms that are close by. So that would mean that you might use less pesticides, and it would be less fungicides and less for you to manage in that way. Also, if you're farming in an area that is highly cultivated, then you might also need to think about the nutrients that you use. You might need more nutrients, different nutrients. Whereas if you're cultivating a land, freshly cultivating a land, you might not need all those nutrients. So you need to make sure that you test the soil as well. So the management of your farm is dependent on the story that your farm tells. Where is it situated also influences the pests and diseases that you manage and the nutrient management program that you implement.
Jamaica Plumbing Supplies stocks it all: bathroom, kitchen, and commercial fittings. Visit our Kingston or Portmore locations. The time by Jamaica Plumbing Supplies is
3:31.
Step into a vibrant celebration of culture where rhythm meets community on the Indian Talent Parade with Dr. Winston Tolan. This engaging program brings you the very best in Indian music, featuring a rich blend of timeless classics and the latest hits. From traditional folk melodies to modern sounds, get captivated by the heartbeat of Indian culture while also showcasing community activities and traditions that bring people together. Tune in and experience the spirit, the sound, the soul of Indian heritage all in one place, right here on Radio Jamaica, Sundays at 4 p.m.
Radio Jamaica, active for the good of our nation.
Yes, indeed. Active for the good of our nation. And yes, we have to look about our things. And we're talking about one of our things that we can't escape, so we have to look about it. And it's the environment. And in that is how we take care of ourselves, the sustainability. And fortunately, we've got a very engaged and engaging, brilliant young Jamaican who is not just interested, but is part of the solution. Gabrielle George. She's an intern at e-Biome Scientific Research and Development Consultancy. So you gave us the good news, Gabrielle, that there is this competition, an essay competition, and it at the intersection of agriculture and climate change, and thereby our lives, our very lives, because, you know, food, clothes, and shelter. You know, you can shelter as long as you want and thing, but if you don't, you're not fed and fed in a healthy way, and it's not sustainable problem. So that's a great platform. And you were just telling us about, and especially those whose, you know, parents might be listening or who might be listening themselves and want to enter this essay competition, some of the things that they should look forward to. All right, so just pick up for me about what you have not yet mentioned that they can possibly put in that little, in those notes, you know, like a voice note or scribble it somewhere, whatever it is, but make sure when I go back to it, take it up, because it's an opportunity I don't want to miss. Yes, talk to me.
Right. It's a very important, a very wonderful opportunity for our students. So I would have gone through the first point, right? That's the first thing that we're looking for in the essays, for students to give us, right, just to describe 2 to 3 climate resilient techniques. Now, the second thing that we're looking for is we want students to explain how these farming techniques connect to Vision 2030 Jamaica, right? And this is very important, because if you ask a student about Vision 2030, you know, they might say, you know, Jamaica is a place to live, to work, to raise family and do business.
Yes.
Right. But if you ask them, okay, tell me about the national goals. Tell me about the national outcomes.
Yes.
No, the student cannot respond. No, we want our students to do research, and we want them to realize, to understand how these essays, them putting their voices in these essays to be part of this discussion about climate resilience, right? We want them to see that it is very important to national development, and therefore we want them to see how is it important to national development. So we want them to look at the national outcomes, right, and the national goals. So it's very crucial for them to be able to recognize there's a connection to Vision 2030, right? And realize just how important their role is. I have to stress on this, how important their role is in being part of these national discussions on climate resilience.
Yes.
And then the third one is for them to propose a school or community project idea, right? So we not only want them to tell us about the techniques and how it links to 2030, but we also want them to innovate, Jerry, right? So we want students to share feasible project ideas. It doesn't have to be anything extensive, right? Because I'll get into like the criteria, right? The submission criteria, right? So it doesn't have to be anything extensive, but it has to be something that's workable, right? Can't be something that's impractical, right? So we want students to posit feasible project ideas, whether it's at the community level or whether it's at the school level, right? And so these are what we're looking for in the SSD's 3 points. And all of this is to really, and I'll get into the outcomes, right? These are the things that we really want to accomplish at the end of the competition. So we want there to be an increase in climate literacy, right? We want our students to have a greater understanding of how climate change impacts Jamaican agriculture, right? Not just Jamaica, but looking at the various sector, particularly the agricultural sector. Because imagine, 7 billion, and then a year later, 32 billion lost. It's devastating, right?
Beef
and so
a billion, beef a beaten. Get up beaten with the billions.
Right. So it's even more crucial for farmers to be really equipped going forward, because we can expect, God forbid, stronger hurricanes coming in the future. And so we want to ensure that our farmers are really equipped to be able to recover very quickly, right? And so we want our students to have a greater understanding of how climate change impacts the agricultural sector. And then the second thing is, now, this is a chance for them to be part of a national discourse. Now remember, right? So now remember, I said that Jamaica announced the ADAPT, right? The ADAPT program. And one aspect of this is to train farmers in climate resilient techniques. So it's very relevant, right? It's very relevant right now. And given the year 2026, given that they're going to run some of these activities, because there's a lot of things under the ADAPT program. But the one particular is the climate resilient techniques. So we want students to use this year, 2026, to really posit some ideas, right? To be part of a national discourse, to share their thoughts on how farmers can better mitigate against climate change, right?
Yes.
So we want them to be part of a national discussion, and as a result of being part of a national discussion, you are also contributing to national development. That's very important. It goes back to Vision 2030.
That's right.
Makes a
nation builder, right? Make you
nation builder, really.
Right. Yes.
And then lastly, now, we want to promote innovation. So remember, I told you about the third point, what we're looking for. We want some project ideas, right? We want some project ideas. So we're engaging the students to innovate. Think about some things they can do in their community or at their school, right? So think about some very practical ideas. It has to be workable, right? So we want our students to really think deeply in their thought process. We want them to think about feasibility. So go ahead, do your research, and give us the ideas. And then, yes, we're looking for those in our essays, and now we're going to get into the eligibility, right?
Right.
So it's open to all.
Go ahead, please. Go ahead, man.
Right. So it's open to all secondary students. And we understand there is a disparity, right? We have the lower school, we have the upper school. So we decided to create two categories, right? Two categories. So we have lower school, so that's grade 7 to grade 9. And we have upper school, that's grade 10 to upper six, right? So you have a lower six form and you have upper six form, so it's up to upper six,
Right.
right? And for the lower school, we'll be easy on them, right? So give us 500 to 700 words. And upper school, we want you to give us some more. Give us 800 to 1,000 words.
After all.
Right? And all these and all entries must be submitted by our email, right? Our email is ebiomedical@gmail.com. Let me spell it out.
Yes,
EBIOME, right? EBIOME MEDICAL @gmail.com. So just to repeat, EBIOME MEDICAL @gmail.com. And one important point that I missed earlier. So not only do we want the 3 points in your essay, but along with their submission, right, the document that they're going to submit to us, there needs to be a reference page, right? You didn't come up with some of these ideas out of your head, right? You need to credit the people, you need to credit individuals, websites that you consulted. So we also want the students to develop academic integrity. And so a part of their essay, there should be a reference page in APA format, right? So all the sites you went to get information, all the videos you watched, right? You're going to credit them, you're going to put them there in APA format, right? I don't know if a lot of students know about MLA and APA, but this is a good time for them to research.
That's correct. That's correct. If you're going to study at any level, you need to understand that because it's global.
Yes, it's global. I remember learning it in grade 7, APA versus MLA format. So right. Even if a student didn't get the chance to cover that, well, this essay gives you that opportunity. So you go ahead and research, and you're going to need it because when you go up to university, you're going to utilize these things. You have to credit sources in papers that you submit to professors and so on. So we're really training our students. That's the next thing, we're training them.
Yes. Hence, I notice the development is in everything you say. It's a development consultancy. Oh yes, a consultancy is what it is, but this one is really geared to be plugged into our development agenda and making us as residents, citizens, part of the solution.
Right. Very crucial. And let me just give you the date, Jerry. So the essay officially launches April 30. April 30. Official launch is April 30. We have expert judges, because at e-Biome, let me just pitch in. e-Biome, as you said, we're not new, right? We're a scientific research and development consultancy. We have a very stocked portfolio, right? We have over 80 research scientists and experts. So our judging panel, these are going to go well informed. Right? So the students, they have to ensure they do adequate research. Of course, there's going to be a rubric, but you have to ensure you do adequate research. And of course, we believe in rewarding our students. So of course, there will be prizes.
Yes.
Right, prizes. Yes. So students can look forward to tablets, right? They can look forward to gift vouchers, or rather book vouchers. And they can look forward to gift baskets, right? We believe in rewarding our students, right? Yes. So they put in the effort, they get a little reward.
And then there's something that don't come immediately, but when it'll land proper, is the satisfaction of being part of the solution. You can't buy that, You can't. That don't sell a shop. Being immersed and being part of the solution is something that remains with you. And hopefully continues to encourage you. And again, it's an investment in the space that we all have a vested interest in. So that's excellent stuff.
Yes, it is indeed. It is indeed.
Yes.
And let me just give you the contact information.
Yes, please.
Because we have our website. On the website, we also have details on the essay competition. So if a student wants to go there to just, you can start their research in advance because it officially launches April 30. So that means we will be submitting, we will be accepting submissions at that time. So if you are students listening right now, you can go ahead and do your research. So on our website, we have details on the essay competition. Our website is www.e-Biome.com. Now there's a hyphen, so e-Biome .com. Right. So www.e-Biome.com. And then we're also on other social media platforms. We're on LinkedIn, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. So for Instagram, it's E_BIOME, right? E_BIOME. We're on YouTube, that's E-BIOME. We're on LinkedIn, that's E-BIOME, right? And we're on Facebook, E without the hyphen, BIOME.
All right. It's a slight variation, so it's not difficult for you to plug one in and you'll see it because you'll see it. Yes, the logo will come up and the material will be. You'll know when they reach. Yeah, it won't be difficult to find the resources. That's an excellent idea. So those who joined us sometime, I won't say late because they have their own business, so it's not late. Who joined us after we started the conversation? Let me retrain myself. Give you a quick 101. What we're talking about and the key points, so they don't feel too left out because they were otherwise occupied, probably.
Right. So let me just reiterate. So e-Biome is hosting its essay competition 2026, right? And it's open to all secondary students, right? So it's open to lower school students, that's grade 7 to 9, and it's open to upper school students, that is grade 10 to upper 6, right? And for lower school, we're looking for the word limit is 500 to 700 words, and for upper school, the word limit or the word range is 800 to 1,000 words, right? And this competition is held under the theme Building Resilience and Innovation in Jamaica's Agricultural Sector, right?
One more time, because everybody hear that and we're going to come back. So listen now, but do it again, yes.
Right, so it's Building Resilience and Innovation in Jamaica's Agricultural Sector. Right, and we officially launch April 30th.
Yes.
And students, of course, you can expect prizes. So as I said earlier, you can expect tablets, you can expect gift book vouchers, you can expect gift baskets. And let me just get into what we're looking for in the essays. So three things. One, describe 2 to 3, right? 2 to 3, climate resilient farming techniques relevant to the Jamaican context, right? Jamaican context. Don't want to see anything about snow, right? So relevant to the Jamaican context, right? So you explain how each technique works and you show why it builds resilience, right? Show us how it builds resilience, climate resilience, right? The second thing we're looking for is how these farming techniques connect to Vision 2030, right?
That's right.
Right, Vision 2030. So we want you to look at the national goals. We want you to go ahead and look at the national outcomes, right? And show us how these farming techniques connect to either one or more of them, right? And then the last thing we're looking for is innovation. We want our students to propose a school or community project idea that demonstrates at least one of the farming techniques discussed, right? So you explain to us how it would work and what impact it would have. So that falls under the feasibility part, right? It has to be workable. And yes, as right, so all submissions, you can make submissions to our email. That's ebiomedical@gmail.com. So EBIOME MEDICAL e-biomedical@gmail.com. And again, the essay officially launches April 30.
Right. Wonderful stuff. So we had some little clips that we had pulled in, and we agreed we would just drop them in. We did two of them already. So this is the third one. It's talking a little bit about the relationship between rainfall and farming in Jamaica. Give a listen to this, and we'll run it one more time for you, and make sure to pull in those in your circle, your family, your physical community, your church community, wherever. Help each other and make the thing real, because it's really a national movement. Give a listen to our last clip, please.
Two things happen when it rains. One, the crops look much greener, like the rain gives them an extra push. No matter how much irrigation you give the crop, once it gets a good shower of rain, it immediately looks much better. Two, pests and weeds also flourish. So the pests start to take over the crop if you don't get a chance to treat the field, especially if it is consistent rain. And the weeds, they flourish, and if you are not able to control them, they take over the entire crop. So when you see a farmer rush into the field after the rains, now you know what it is.
Yes, indeed. Oh, by the way, you could probably go check out. No, I'm not connected with them, but there are a couple of these clips you can probably go get yourself inspired. It's a YouTube channel called Nature Inspired OH, NATURE Inspired OH, and it's based off some work of content creators in Central Jamaica, and they're just basically sharing some of their own experiences. And why not link with them? Why not listen? Why not ask questions if something doesn't seem quite right? Probe, science. You need to probe, and that is a big part of the fun when it connects, right?
Right.
Right. Don't just that's it. That's good stuff. Gabrielle George, our intern from e-Biome Scientific Research and Development Consultancy, bringing us great news and possibilities for our youngsters in particular. All right. You done the submission? How you submit again? Or we haven't touched that yet?
So
we did that, yeah. Okay.
No, we touched that, but let me just repeat.
Sure.
So all submissions must be submitted to our email. So that's ebiomedical. So that's ebiomedical@gmail.com. And Jerry, I missed out something very important. We have a template,
Oh,
yes, we have a template.
Nice.
So right, to make it much easier for our students.
Yes.
So they can visit our website. So as I said earlier, we have a page on our website about the essay competition in details, right? And on the website there is a word template they must use, right? So you download that word template and you just paste in your essay, or just type in your essay there, and then you just email it to us. Very simple, very easy for the students. You don't have to format anything. You just download the template, put in your essay, put in your name, your form, your school, and of course your references. Don't leave out your reference page, and then just send it to us on our email. So the website again, our website is www.ebiome.com. So don't leave out the hyphen. So it's www.e-biome.com.
Good stuff. Absolutely wonderful stuff. And if you are listening now, please tell somebody who might need to know, and give them the contact details, because you might be multitasking, as most people do on the weekend. Even if they're working, they're multitasking because there's personal things to do as well on the side when you work, a whole line of things. Just make sure you pass it on to at least one. Try go for three, because we have so many gifted, wonderful youngsters. If they don't hear, it's really, you're denying them an opportunity. Don't do that. Just help them up, because I know you want to help them to do, and they want to be resourceful. I mean, they're resourceful by nature, but if they don't know it's there, then it takes a little longer. They will probably find it, but just shorten the thing and say, listen, there's this, here the thing, go check it out. So give them the contact details again for me one last time, Gabriel, so that anybody listening, write it down. You don't know who might need it. Write it down. Put where you can find it. And as you see somebody or somebody name come to you, or you meet somebody and you say, check this out, because we need to look after each other that kind of way. One last time for the contacts, please.
Right. So let me get into the contact information. So remember, we launched April 30. So as when April 30 drop, you can expect to see posters and so on. So here are our socials. So we're on Instagram, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Facebook. So for Instagram, it's E_BIOME, right? So E_BIOME. And we're on YouTube, right? So it's at E-BIOME. Repeat, at E-BIOME. On LinkedIn now, it's E-BIOME. Very simple, E-BIOME. And for Facebook, it's just without the hyphen. So E-BIOME. Right. And for the website, so let me just repeat the website. It's www.e-biome.com.
Yes.
Right. So www.e-biome.com. Right.
Wonderful. You have been patient, you've been kind, you've been thorough. And I thank you so much for the time invested. God bless you. Gabriel George,
Yes,
intern, e-Biome Scientific Research and Development Consultancy. We'll continue to plug it when we can. And I just get a good feeling about this, that we're going to have lots of youngsters emerging and doing some great things. The very worst thing that can happen is that they'll learn something more, and that's not a loss. And if that is the worst, can you imagine the best? The best can be really to shot and really to, go to the top with it, and transpose that into all the other things that they might want to do. Blessings to you, and I hope we our paths cross again soon, because you guys are working on so many amazing things, and we're here to partner with you on it.
Right. Thank you very much for having me here, Jerry. Have a good day.
You too. It's been a blessing. All right. So let's just tell you we're almost out of here. So over a little toops of music there. Let's say thanks to all of those who participated today. We got some input from Barbara Morgan Stewart. I'm not sure. I hope she's okay. She didn't show, but she gave us the info and we shared it. And we hope you can check out her book about the Daniel fast. Professor Rupert Lewis, who gave us a nice little lesson, man. Not such a strong lesson. There's Davia, Brian Campbell, again, amazing input in terms of education, technology, and the combination. For CCRP, our guest was Mrs. Irene Walter, and then we just heard from the vibrant and just vibesy Gabriel George from e-Biome Scientific Research and Development Consultancy.